Hello guys, and welcome back for yet another edition here of this Project Cars Formula A career mode. We are currently in Barcelona getting ready for the Spanish Grand Prix, the fifth race of the season here. And for those of you who've been following the series, you'll know that we have something that we need to prove after our bit of a disaster there at Brands Hatch. I think you could pretty much look at that race as a prime example of how not to approach a race here in Project Cars. Anyway, jumping straight to the task at hand here, we are currently sitting in P14 here after our first qualifying lap. We are out on our second right now here. Obviously, I know the Catalonia circuit very well, having driven it tons of times in the F1 series here over the past couple of years here, obviously, but this is probably the first time I'm actually driving it in Project Cars here. Not too much to add about that really, other than the fact that although I know this track very well and I've driven here quite a bit over the past couple of years, this is definitely not one of my favorite tracks. If there's a track that routinely chews me up and spits me out, other than Brands Hatch, obviously, it is Barcelona. I always seem to struggle here for whatever reason, so I'm really looking forward to seeing whether or not that is an F1 series thing or whether it's going to translate into Project Cars as well. Anyway, qualifying seems to be going very well indeed here. We chop off almost a full second of our best lap there, and that is putting us into a temporary pole here, and I actually have that much faith in this particular lap that we are just going to be pulling the car over here, retiring to the pits, and wouldn't you know it, that is good enough for pole position. As you can see there, Christian Borgens in second, Peter Monroe is in third, Bert Ninchus is in fourth, and our teammate Fabio there is in fifth position there. So really happy with the qualifying session here, really happy with how the car is handling, and the setup seems to be working for us fine there. One thing that we have been changing here for this particular Grand Prix that you need to know about is that we have set the tire wear to ×2 and not realistic. Obviously, we need to do this because the AI are simply not going into pit often enough. So we are increasing the tire wear here just to see if we can't get the AI cars into the pits a little bit more. Anyway, getting off the grid here in a very nice fashion, indeed close to perfect start, no wheel spin whatsoever, right on the green light as well there, as we are coming into turn one, still leading the race here, and it just need to take the right line here through turns 1 and 2. We do not want to allow the AI cars to move up the inside of us there in any way. We had a problem with that at Brands Hatch, ended up losing a couple of positions because of it, got out of our groove, and in the end, it ended up costing us dearly. Again, taking the inside line here, coming through turn 5. This is not the fastest line through this turn here, but if you give these guys an inch, they're going to be taking it.
You've got some pressure from the guy behind. You need to brake as late as you can. You may need to cover the inside line.
Coming out on the second DRS straight here, still leading the race. It's not like we're building any sort of gap here down to Christian Borgens. Coming into turn 10, if you look in the mirror, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it appears that Christian Borgens completely misjudges the turn and ends up off track, losing all kinds of positions here. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, he's going to have half the pack overtaken. Bad luck for Christian Borgens. I don't think we're going to be seeing him anymore today. So lap 1 status here, we remain in P1, our teammate Fabio right on our exhaust there in P2, so things are looking pretty good for the Auto Rebel team right now.
Great first lap.
Jumping ahead to lap 4 here, we no longer have Fabio in P2 as we are currently being chased by Dirk Clapham here, and I'm not really sure when or how that happened, but what I do know is that we are having quite some problems here pulling out a decent gap to the number 2 car, regardless who we're talking about there. And it appears that the pattern of earlier races is pretty much still the same here. We are going to be having trouble with the AI's pace early in the race, and a little later in the race I expect us to be pulling away, but the question is, are the AI going into pit earlier in the race now that the tire wear has been set to 2, and what's going to happen with our own tires? That is the question. Anyway, jumping ahead to lap 8 here, the situation remains the same. Dirk Clapham still in P2 and still only about a second and a half behind us there. So no major changes, and the AI are still keeping pace at this point here. Tires are feeling pretty good at the moment there, even though we have a slightly cool right front tire there. It doesn't seem to bother us. Jumping ahead to lap 13 here, we are now opening up a decent gap down to Dirk Clapham finally, and it appears that we have now reached the point where his tires are slowly starting to go off the cliff here, because it's not like we are improving our times. As you can see there, we are basically a full second off our best time here. So at the moment, our own tires are still feeling good here, but it'll be interesting to see how the increased tire wear is going to be affecting them. Jumping ahead to lap 20 here, as you can see, we have loads of cars into pit at this point here. So it appears that we have finally cracked the code here in getting the AI to actually change their worn tires here. And even our own tires are starting to feel a little worn at this point here. Anyway, current P2 is Peter Monroe, and this is probably the first time we see him at the top of the table, basically. He's about 54 seconds behind us right now, so I would assume that he has not been in to change his tires yet. By the looks of it here, we actually are being outpaced right now by the back markers there. Kenneth Murray moved down the inside of us there. Another back marker moving down the inside of us, and this is getting a little bit hazardous here. So you got to wonder if it's not time to change our own tires here. And on lap 23, we are coming in to make our first and hopefully only pit stop of the race here. And what that means, hopefully, is that we are going to be rejoining the track in clear space, so to speak, there, because we ended up having to tangle with a load of back markers there that were suddenly just as or even quicker than we were on these half-dead tires here. So we ended up in some pretty hazardous situations there that really wasn't all that comfortable with, considering these were cars that were not fighting for position there. But as you can see there, we are going to be rejoining the track here, still in P1. Peter Monroe still in P2, having not been in the pit yet. And obviously the time indication there to the number 2 car, Peter Monroe, must be all off here, because obviously there's no way he's a minute 20 down on us. And there you have it. There's the correct time. We are currently 6 seconds ahead of Peter Monroe, and we should be able to open up a gap down to him, because obviously he has not been into pit yet, meaning his tires must be halfway shot while we are on brand new tires at this point. Skipping right ahead to lap 28 here, forget what I said about opening up a gap. We are basically having to use everything we have in the arsenal at this point here just to maintain a gap of 3 to 4 seconds down to Peter Monroe. He is driving an out-of-this-world race here on worn tires and is really putting us to the test here. Well, to be honest, I have no clue where he's getting his current pace from. And taking a huge jump forward here to lap 40, we are coming in to make our second stop of the race. Our Peter Monroe has been in to make his pit stop at this point here. He's about 57 seconds behind us right now, so we should have time to complete a pit stop here. The reason we are in to make this particular stop is that our second set of tires there was going completely off the cliff here. We were having trouble with an overheating front left tire here, basically right from the start of the stint, really. I'm not really sure why that was, whether or not there was something off with the tire pressures after the pit stop or whatever happened there. All I know is that our tires were gone way too quickly there. And as you can see, we are going to be rejoining the track in second, no, third position here, as Christian Borgens having re-emerged from the dead, basically. Remember, he ran off track there on lap 1, losing all kinds of positions. He is into P2 right now. That is very impressive indeed. Got to take your hat off to that, though. But what's really bumming me here at this point is that we had to make that second pit stop, and that could easily end up costing us a win here at Barcelona today. Jumping to lap 43 here, we are currently 6 seconds behind Christian Borgens, meaning we are not closing the gap. This was our fastest lap off the race here, and still he is pulling away from us here. So obviously it seems that we have solved the tire issues there with the AI, making them a lot more competitive late in the race. So that's good news. I suppose some more good news is that we are currently about 10 seconds ahead of the current P4 car, Brian Herring. Skipping ahead to lap 46, the final lap of the race. As you can see, Christian Borgen still pulling away from us, almost 10 seconds up the road here. Dirk Clapham is now into P4, having overtaken Brian Herring there. He's about 7 seconds down on us. There's no way he's going to be catching us unless we put the car into the wall here in the last couple of turns, so we just need to bring the car home here. So it appears that we are going to be rounding off the podium here today at Barcelona. A little disappointed with this one, I have to say. I thought we had it in the back earlier in the race here, but the tire wear kind of took us by surprise here a little bit. But I guess that's a positive, needing to take care of your tires a little bit more than what we've been used to earlier in this season here. And also seeing the AI coming in to change their tires at realistic times in the race and maintaining pace because of it. Very positive indeed. Peter Monroe taking his first win of the season here. Christian Borgens in second. We round off the podium in third. And as you can see, there's still the championship race. We are leading that quite comfortably, right ahead of our teammate there, Fabio, who's in second. Christian Borgens is in third. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more Project Cars action. And I'll be seeing you soon enough. Bye-bye.